Alrighty, what's up, everybody? My name is Jess Sober, and this is Spiritual Warfare Time. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the TV show, right? Oh, man, it just feels good. Just feels good, doesn't it? You're just cruising along in your car right now, right? I bet. Thinking about how great it is America is right now. Just looking everywhere and noticing there's less illegals, right? Well, it's kind of true. They are after them. They are cleaning up the streets. That's right. Ice baby is what we want to call it. They are out in full force, scooping up the people that do not belong in America. Now, is it heartless to think like this? Is it mean of me? Is it mean of you to think like this? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're doing the right thing, right? I mean, think about it. 22 million people illegally moving around, doing their little criminal activity. And maybe some are not. Don't get me wrong. You know, they're building houses. They're building things. Wait, okay. But someone's taking advantage of them. They're sending their money back to another country. They're paying off the cartel for getting them here. I don't think it's very productive. And what Social Security are they using? You know, how do they, and they don't have insurance when they drive. Most of the time when they get pulled over, this is why they get deported. I mean, they don't have insurance. They don't have a license plate. I mean, they don't have a license. We, us Americans, have to do all this stuff to live in our country as a civil nation, following the laws, and you got illegals running around breaking the laws. And the previous administration literally was encouraging them, giving them money, EBT cards or whatever cards, Social Security money. They're just giving them money, giving them grants, giving them this so they could thrive in our country. Listen, I'm not against that, but you know what? As a small business owner, you know, I would like to have a grant. You know, we need a grant, Chuck. Why not? How can we get a grant? How can we get funding for spiritual warfare? You know, we need advertising money. We want to broaden the Christian faith through our brand. But if I was black or a Latino or from Nigeria, and I want to push DEI, I'm sure enough I could get the funding. Maybe that's what we should push here. Maybe we should make a T-shirt. Oh, no, we're not in the Trump administration. We're in the Trump administration. This is the plan we would do if it was the Biden administration or the Kamala, or whatever, the satanic administration. We would literally make a shirt that says DEI rules. And then we would submit that to them and say, hey, listen, we are all about DEI. We want to make T-shirts about DEI. Will you give us a grant? I'm sure enough, we probably get the funding that we need. It's just unfortunate that has to be the way to get it. But hopefully we don't have to go down that road, right, Chuck? I know. I think our sales are good, right? If you haven't done so, go to webersway.com/shop. Check out our clothing line. I know I talk about it every single show, most of the time. But check it out, guys. You know, just support us there. We got everything that you could want. I mean, I don't know what else. Listen, the shirts that we supply are not cardboard shirts, okay? They are literally amazing material. So amazing that you'll want to wear it every day. If you wear it every day, make sure you wash it, okay? Make sure you wash the blacks in cold, okay? We don't want them fading. We don't want them to get spots on them. So you wash these shirts in cold, the black ones. But anyways, you got to check it out. Go to webersway.com/shop. Use the promo code GODWINS for 10% off. And also there's free shipping as well. And some of our viewers do message us about Walmart. Yes, we are in Walmart. Don't worry. No one's ripping our clothes off in Walmart. Yes, we do have an Etsy store as well. Don't worry. That is us. You can see the website clear as day on the channel as well. So, moving on. Lots to talk about. A lot of interesting things that are happening. It's going to be kind of spread out, but you'll get the hang of it. All right, so let's follow up on the boy, the boys, McGrone and his husband, right? Having that little face off at the airplane. Well, McCrow says that he and the first man, I would have to say, were play fighting, and it was not a secret airplane shove. So they're lying. There you go. They're covering up something, right? And that's clearly a massive wig. I don't know if anyone can tell, but that is a massive wig. What are you hiding there? If you were, how old are you? Why do you have to have a wig that big? You know what I mean? And clearly he has some work done. Clearly it's a man, right? There's Candace. Completely. She exposed him. All right. Anyways, that was the follow-up. They said it was nothing. It's not a big deal. Whatever. All right. So here's the South African guy chanting, kill the white farmers in South Africa.
Roma Kubi, Siaya, Siaya, Roma Besetubola, Besishaya, Besigopa, Roma Besetubola, Besishaya.
Anyways, after the Trump exposing them, they double down. So they really hate the white farmers. They say, shoot to kill, kill the boar, the farmer. Let's see if they say this is like a version of the Democrat Party. You know what I mean? Soon they'll say, shoot to kill the MAGA people. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised that's what they really want to do. In the Democrat side, they're just so pure evil. They are. They're lost. They're very confused. If you ever watch those Jubilee shows on YouTube, these people are just out of control. They're just so filled with just confusion, hate, and definitely medicated, right, Chuck? Definitely medicated. Yes. Anyways, I just thought that was just amazing. All right, moving on. Obviously, we got this. I don't want to go to liberal stuff right now, Chuck. Let's just go right to. Let's stick with ICE right now. All right, so this lady, I guess she was a Dayton college student released after more than 2 weeks in ICE custody. Says people should fear for being deported.
Does this situation make you worry about your family's future?
It does, only because I know that even having the right paperwork, it doesn't mean anything anymore. With the presidency we have now, even having the right paperwork could mean deportation.
And you touched on it a little bit earlier in Spanish, talking about how it doesn't even matter if you have papers. If you're Spanish, you're getting pulled over. Can you just talk about a little bit about it?
Yes, I think I heard stories in Stewart where there had cops went into their house, ICE went into their house and took them. And it's just very unfair. And just being Hispanic, you're a target. And I think right now people should fear being deported or being pulled over by a cop just because you're Hispanic.
And how does life in Dalton compare to life in Stewart?
Completely life-changing. It's a whole lot. It switches your world. It's unexplainable.
And can you even imagine a life in Mexico?
I can, but it'd be very different. Like y'all know, I got here whenever I was 4. I love Mexico because I'm from there, but it's a country I'm not familiar with. So going back to Mexico would be very.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, it can't go for that. Shut up, Diamond Broad. Kickin says, lay stream there, buddy. That's right. Well, what's your thoughts? I mean, this lady was held in detention for 2 weeks. Man, She must have done something, right? She must have started some kind of trouble on the college, right? Probably chanting "Free Palestine," even though she's from Mexico. Who knows? These clowns that they, I don't know, at these schools. Anyways, she's got pretty good English. I would actually say she could stay. She could stay, Chuck. Why not? She's got good English. It's pretty good. At least she's assimilating with American values, hopefully. Now, if that's a Mexican jacket she's wearing, then she's crossing the line, and then maybe she should go back. But it's tough. The tough thing is if her parents are illegal, well, she's illegal. Get out. Final decision, right? Get out. You know what I mean? Telling the media, if you're Hispanic, even if you're a legal citizen, you should really worry. Yeah, they're just picking up random people. Well, guess what? Maybe there's something you did. There's got to be something you did. But then again, they do look the same, Chuck. They do look the same. So, they could just grab anybody that looks Mexican. I'll tell you one day, I was on a job site the other day. And, there was like 5 Mexicans. 5 of them. Maybe they're not Mexicans. Maybe they're Salvadorian. Who knows where they're fucking some shithole country, right? Some shithole country. That's where they're from. So I'm sitting in there, all right? I'm working on something. And what happened was that they're staring at me, right? And they're all doing their little gibbery language. You know what I mean? And they're pointing. I'm like, and I turn around. I'm like, what's the problem, guys? Huh? What are you doing? What do you want? What'd you just say? Are you guys from here? You guys citizens? Do you guys know ICE is coming? I hope he does. I don't know if they understood what I said, but I think they did understand the word ICE. And hopefully they did. Hopefully they'll someday show up and get them out. I'll tell you one thing. Every time I'm there, they're always eating, laying down. They're not working. I don't see them working very much unless they work 24 hours and I just catch them at their little hour and a half break. Sometimes I'm there for an hour, 2 hours sometimes, they're just eating their little Mexican food or their little garbage food. You know what I mean? It's annoying. It stinks. I'm in there. I'm like, hey, it stinks. Get that food out of here. What are you doing? Gross. Listen, I'm not against immigrants. Don't think I am. I'm just a little tired of just smelling their garbage. I know it's just gross. I don't know. Maybe it's just personal, but and then when I'm there, you guys should be working too. I don't understand why I'm the only one working. I'm the only white guy here at this job. I feel like I'm gonna die. I feel like they're gonna try to murder me or something, or try to steal my tools or something. I don't know. I get a little worried sometimes. All I said is ice, 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 baby. They have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't care. But they will eventually find out. Listen, I know that a lot of people are thinking, well, they're good people. They're working on houses. They're cleaning up. They're doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. Really? You think so? Maybe. I don't know. How many jobs out there? How many people want to do, construction, build houses? I don't know. What is that? Why is that just a Spanish job? Is it just a Spanish job? We'll make it legal and pick the people that want to become Americans, not some Spanish person or a Salvadorian or whatever country. I don't care what country. I wish we could just have a word for, illegal alien. Why can't we have an illegal alien, right? That person want to become an American. Okay, assimilate with us, right? Assimilate, become, learn the word, learn English, learn the history, say the Pledge of America, and none of this. Bring your flag to this country, or send your money back to the other country, back where you're from. Become an American. Enjoy reap the benefits of it, not just rip it off. It's exactly what they're doing. I don't know. It's just, it makes me angry, doesn't it? It makes everybody angry. Come on. Anyways, hopefully they will eventually listen. 22 million is a lot of people. That's a lot. That's a lot a lot of shenanigans going on there. Trafficking, drugs. We've got a serious problem. Don't think for an instant, don't feel guilty for a second that you want them all out. Okay? Don't feel guilty about that. All right? We're a nation. We got to have borders. We got to have laws. We got to have things in order. All right? And if these people say, would you go to another country? Say if the Biden administration was, you never know. Say if the Kamala administration, say if Kamala got in, right? And they're like, that's it. MAGA people were rounding you up because you guys are domestic terrorists. Say if we want to seek refugees we say we want to go to, I don't know, where's a country that's safe, huh? Say if we want to go to Canada. No, I don't want to go to Canada. Australia, no, they have no rights. That means America falls. That means we fight. That means you need to be armed and ready. You know what I mean? That's a safe for America. Just reading off the shirt. No, seriously, that's the time where Americans will have to have the second Civil War. And I think that's what they were afraid of. That's what would happen. We wouldn't leave. I'm sorry. We wouldn't. There's nowhere to go. There's really no country that I could think of that I would honestly want to go. I guess I could go to my wife's hometown, the Philippines. I guess I could go there. But then I would just have to forget this whole life. I would have to forget about everything. Assimilate with the Philippines. I would have to learn their language. I would really have to learn it. I would have to become a Filipino. I would have to, I don't know. Would I have to wear a rice hat or something? What do they do? What do they wear? Huh? You know what I mean. But I would have to become them, I guess. I don't know. It would be very hard. But anyways, you know what I mean. We would fight. No, we would fight, right? A fight for America. It's worth it. All right, let's see. Do we have any more videos of capturing illegals? I love it. It just makes me very excited. Makes me very excited. Here's one. Ooh, a good one. Let's watch this one.
Illegal migrant now in custody after allegedly writing that he'll self-deport after shooting President Trump. In a letter that he sent to an ICE agent, the 54-year-old Mexican national has illegally entered the U.S. at least 9 times and has a lengthy rap sheet. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem reacting in a statement saying, quote, thanks to our ICE officers, this illegal alien who threatened to assassinate President Trump is behind bars. All politicians and members of the media should take notice of these repeated attempts on President Trump's life and tone down their rhetoric. I will continue to take all measures necessary to ensure the protection of President Trump.
What a stupid idiot is going to write a letter to ICE and say, hey, I'm going to kill President Trump and then I'll deport, right? Really? Oh, I don't even believe it. I don't believe some idiot. Maybe they're that dumb. Maybe illegal aliens are that dumb. Maybe that's the problem, Chuck. Maybe they have no clue. Maybe that's why they're so soulless. They just come into a country and kill people and murder people, and they have no idea what's going on. They're just so stupid. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's the whole thing. I didn't realize that. Wow, you're gonna write a letter. Dear ICE, I want to kill Trump before I leave. What an idiot. The guy could have got deported, got a free ticket home, $1,000, and maybe a possible chance of coming back. Oh wait, no, he's 9 times. He's going to jail. What an idiot. He almost wanted to go to jail. I don't understand criminals. That's what I don't understand. It must be the devil in them. Because the devil's all about destruction. So he's in that person. He's like, okay, just destroy yourself. Just write a letter to ICE and say you want to kill the president, huh? Sure enough, the guy does it. What an idiot. He's done. The devil is very sneaky. Devil's a dick, I would have to say. Thank God he's not in me, right? Right, Chuck? All right. This is this is becoming bizarre. You know the black kid that killed the white kid, and everyone gave all this money to him, and his family bought a mansion and cars for their protection. They're really defending this kid. They're actually trying to make him a hero. Another George Floyd, another let's march in the streets for, you know what I mean? This guy talks about he's think twice before you bully a black guy is what he's pretty much saying.
Now, when white kids bully black kids, they're going to have to think twice now, Art. Carmelo Anthony should be honored. Not for taking nobody's life. We don't honor death. We never do that. Oh, yeah. But for having the courage to stand up to two white bullies who are much bigger than him. Rest in peace to Hunter.
I love how they come out with this kind of crap until the video starts showcasing that this guy was the moral aggressor. We'll find out one day.
Who I believe lost his life. Because he had the courage to stand up to two bullies. Now, every black kid in America who's being bullied by white kids, those white kids are now going to think twice about what they're doing. Because if you keep it up, when you back somebody into a corner with fear and concern for their safety, it might not work out for you. And I can tell you, Art, as a certified school psychologist who works in schools.
That's the problem right there. He works in the school.
When white children bully black children, nothing is done about it. Let me say that again. When white kids bully black kids, nothing is done about it. There is a white privilege in America's public schools. There's a white privilege in America's charter schools. There's a white privilege in America's independent schools. For all we know, and I'm not going to put this on them, but for all we know, Hunter and Austin could have a history of bullying black kids. And it finally caught up to them. Now, when white...
Wow. I don't know. Reverse it, huh? I'm sure there's black kids that harass white kids all the time. They're not murdering them. They fight. And they probably become racist in the future. That's how you create a racist right there, right, Chuck? Chuck was bullied. I don't know, Chuck, you should come on one day and tell the story. Chuck was bullied by black people throughout his whole life. Now he's a raging racist. Aren't you, Chuck? We're just kidding here. But he was bullied by black people. And he's not a racist. He's shaking his head. No, he's not a racist. That's okay, Chuck. Hey. If they beat the crap out of you for how many years? Was it 2, 3? Just 8th grade? 8th to 9th, 8th, 10th? Oh, 4 years. Oh, that would make you a little mad, huh? Well, you should have went to that school. How about that? He had no choice, he said. Oh, man. That's funny because I was bullied by blackies. Uh-oh. Vindog. Vindog was bullied by blackies too. Oh, interesting. Everybody's bullied. Listen, that's high school, but you need to figure something out. You know what I mean? We know so much information nowadays, right? With bully, we know it's wrong. Adults, hey, you don't want your kid pushing another kid around. Oh, it comes down to parenting. That's right. So if all the parents were on board here, right, you kind of would probably figure out that maybe we wouldn't have any bullies. Right? If you bully someone, you're going to get in trouble. Maybe. That would be a factor. Maybe parents need to get more involved with their children. Right? All right. David Hogg is up on deck. Yes, that's right. Remember David Hogg back in the day? He was, a crisis actor, trying to get his lines right on national TV after the killing, after the Parkland shooting. Remember that?
One of them went into a bathroom in the same hallway as the shooter. Oh, hold on. One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live. Because we had a fire alarm earlier that day, and that was a drill, so we thought this was a drill too, just another one. Because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor... Sorry.
It's okay. You're fine, David. You're fine.
Honestly.
An actor would do that. Those artsy actors, those really gay ones, they would go like this. Let me get the line right. Okay. That's it. That's what gay actors.
When I was going out, I was kind of in, I was, hold on.
It's okay.
When I was going out, I was in shock.
Yes, I don't know how to put this in perspective.
Now he's getting direction by the reporter. All right, you get the gist of this, how he's a crisis actor. Anyways, he's up deck now. Looks like David, Project Veritas. Listen, I questioned Project Veritas, okay? I'm not a huge fan of James O'Keefe. I just question the legitimacy of what's going on here. How did you get the audio of Pam Bondi? Every time you have these videos come out, nothing happens. So what is it really for? Is it just show and tell? Like, well, what is going on? You know what I mean? All right. Anyways, here's undercover footage of David Hogg talking about DNC chair Vista claiming Jill Biden's chief of staff is actually running the White House. So they're talking about other people running the White House. It's pretty interesting because this is the whole this whole thing is being exposed now, and I'm wondering if they push off this information to James O'Keefe. I don't know. It just seems so strange. Everything seems very strange.
Yes, nice to meet you. Yeah. Off the record, of course. Foundational question for me is like, how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden? Well, the president of the United States.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was like the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Like Joe Biden's chief of staff, like had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at the level. Like I would avoid him. Like he was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's like a shadowy, like Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so like. I knew how he looked, but I'm like the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had in the White House.
Stay tuned for part 2 in a month or next week, and we'll show you a little bit more. This is what I don't like about Project Veritas. If this stuff is real, if this stuff is that serious, you got to put it out. You got to give it to the, I don't know. If this is like, I don't know. I mean, it's not really evidence. It's just like kids. I mean, these are little kids. David Hogg's like a little child. He's like a little baby. You know what I mean? He's like so small of a child that he really doesn't really deserve to be a human, I would think. Right, Chuck? Anyways, I mean, part 2. What? Now what? Oh, the second guy. This guy was really in power. Okay, so what? Now what? Oh, part 3. This third guy. Part 4. Fourth guy. Okay. You showed us who's okay. Let's get to the bottom of it. And I think that's right. Vindog talks about Bohemian Grove. That's right. Bohemian Grove. There was a whole thing that James O'Keefe went there. I was thinking like, whoa, maybe he was trying to expose the Bohemian Grove. But finds out it looks like a little gay fiesta goes on there. It seems like it's just a bunch of gay guys that go to Bohemian Grove, worship Satan, do a lot of gay stuff, mingle, network, and then get back to America. You know what I mean? Or wherever Bohemian Grove is. It's in California, right? Anyways, I just... part 2, and make sure you pay. That's the dumb thing. Where is the leak footage from the? I don't know. We gotta pay. We gotta go pay for that. Then we're gonna leak that footage out, right? All right. Continuing on. Hogg is good. I don't know. We'll see what part 2, what that's all about. Can't wait. Right. Harvard's in the news. Obviously, they are doubling down on their anti-Semitism against Jews. They clearly just want to keep pushing it, and they want those foreigners to keep coming into Harvard. And another interesting thing is that they're all about this new. They're very proud to teach regular math. Trump was talking about how Harvard is going to be teaching 1 + 1. How about that? Well, I guess you would have to teach that kind of math to foreigners, I would think. But it seems like they're lowering their standards because Harvard has lowered their standards. is because if you get the more dumb people, give them elite diplomas, they will feel so empowered to push their agenda. So Harvard's teaching DEI, teaching racism, teaching the black history here, whatever the theory is. Marxism, you know, they're doing all this stupid stuff to destroy America, right? They actually hate America. They teach all these kids, all these dumb idiots, right? You know, you're supposed to be super smart, right? They're literally saying no to the Chinese boy that's got a 1600 on his SATs, okay? They're literally just qualify. Your DEI, get them in, right? You're black, get them in, huh? Hispanic, get them in. Chinese and black, all right, let's get them in. Is he smart? Better not be. Get them in. Get all these dumbos in Harvard, right? Teach them a basic crap, right? Make them look like they got a degree to become a doctor, right? Or a lawyer, and then let them fail or maybe succeed in their field of DEI or not even get a job. Maybe they realize when they get out, they're like, we don't have a job and we're in debt. So they literally got dumb idiots in debt with a degree that they can't even handle. So Harvard is on the shit list right now and literally losing funding like crazy. And I don't think we should be funding them anyways. I don't even know why. But Trump is he's kicking their ass, he says.
The confrontation with Harvard and you foresee?
I don't know. I don't know. Harvard's got to behave themselves. Harvard is treating our country with great disrespect. And all they're doing is getting in deeper and deeper and deeper. They've got to behave themselves. You know, I'm looking out for the country and for Harvard. I want Harvard to do well. I want Harvard to be great again, probably, because how could it be great? How could it be great when you have Harvard announced 2 weeks ago that they're going to teach remedial mathematics, remedial, meaning they're going to teach low-grade mathematics, like 2 + 2 is 4. How did these people get into Harvard if they can't do basic mathematics? How did they do it? I mean, people with 1,600 in their boards don't get in, and they're letting people in, and they're bragging about how they're teaching them basic mathematics. Where did these people come from? So we have to look at the list, and Harvard has to understand the last thing I want to do is hurt them. They're hurting themselves. They're fighting. You know, Columbia has been they were very, very bad what they've done. They're very anti-Semitic and lots of other things. But they're working with us on finding a solution. And, you know, they're taking off that hot seat. But Harvard wants to fight. They want to show how smart they are. And they're getting their ass kicked.
A lot of people think that Trump is going after Harvard because Trump couldn't get into Harvard and Barron Trump couldn't get into Harvard or something like that. So that's what the left is trying. That's their talking point. Obviously, who gives a crap either way if it is true. I can't imagine that would just, I don't know. I can't imagine with Trump would have a grudge for 60 years or I don't know how many years he's been out of college to literally leave a grudge against Harvard. I don't know. Maybe. Barron, I mean, I can't see him why he would go. Where is Harvard? Where is Harvard? It's in Kentucky or something, or Connecticut, right? In a different state. It's not New York. Can't see Barron want to go to that state. Where would he stay? Wouldn't you rather stay at Trump Towers? You know, where Melania can see, you know, set up. You know, they already got a place there. Anyways, Harvard's on the shit list. That's for sure. I don't know how true. And how I guess Trump put it out on True Social, but I told Canada, which very much wants to be part of the fabulous Golden Dome system, it will cost $61 billion if they want to remain separate but unequal nation. But it would cost $0 if they became our cherished 51st state. What is wrong with you, right? 51st state. They are considering the offer. I don't know how much you can read into that, but it's interesting, huh? This is interesting. For the one guy that was a hostage by Hamas, Hamas was very scared of Trump, and they treated this hostage very nicely after Trump got elected. And here's his story on CNN. I don't think they'd like to hear this story.
Scared of him. Yeah, they wanted
Who?
The terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. When Trump became president, yeah, the way they treated us changed. For me, personally, this is what I
think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me. Very scared of him. Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. Everybody's scared of Trump. Because he'll actually do something. You know what I mean? That's why they're scared. He'll actually do something. They knew Kamala wasn't going to do anything. They knew they would just keep getting funding and money for this, money for that. You know what I mean? All right, moving on. Let's see. This is Tommy Robinson. Remember him? He's finally out of jail. Looks like couldn't shave or grew his hair out. There you go. Here's Tommy Robinson talking out of prison.
You've been incarcerated in this horrible place since October. Can you tell me, first of all, how are you? How are you feeling, boss?
I feel good. Unfortunately, in a country that doesn't believe in free speech, being a citizen journalist, this place is an occupational hazard. It's ridiculous. 16 years ago, when I first started speaking out against Islamic rape gangs that were plaguing this country, from that point on, I faced relentless attacks from the British state, wielding lawfare as a weapon in order to silence me. I have never been convicted by a jury. Every one of my convictions have been handed down to me by judges. The lucky thing with this, everyone got to see the film. I have to say thank you to Elon Musk, because without X, if we didn't have X, everyone would just think I lied. No one would have got any other narrative. Fortunately, I think, 167 million people saw the truth. So that gagging order, these attempts at censorship, to silence, to cancel people, it hasn't worked. You've attempted to lock up the truth, and that truth has been echoed around the entire globe. It couldn't have been any more successful. I knew exactly what I was doing when I released you.
He's out. You know the common thing where people are getting out of jail? You see the crosses. A lot of these Christians, a lot of people coming to Christ. That's what I have to see. That's what I see. Just the left just can't figure it out. They can't figure out where their head is because they're idiots, right? All right. If you guys were all, excited about the Pope, I got to be careful on this one. Anyways, the Pope, people are not very confident that he's going to be a conservative Pope. Actually, he might be more woker than Pope Francis.
Yeah, 24 hours. Yeah, the audience may not know, but there's been this internecine battle going back and forth. I call it, PTSD from Bergoglio. They had the Stockholm syndrome. They wanted to give Pope Leo a break. I thought it was all pretty formative and superficial, but the honeymoon is over because in the last 24 hours, as I call him, Dark Horse Leo, appointed the second nun to govern the dicastery for male clergy. So there are now two nuns who are making all the decisions in the Vatican regarding priests, monks, etc. So that has not sit well with traditional Catholics or even Catholics, around the world. Secondly, he appointed today the Bishop of St. Gallen, Switzerland, the famous St. Gallen Mafia.
Oh, wow. The St. Gallen's Mafia, the most progressive part of the church. Wow.
Yes, and I think we have a picture of him. He is on record of supporting women's ordination. So this was a direct appointment of Pope Leo, really, I think, signaling that the drift is going to be going left very quickly. And thirdly, and this is breaking news, I don't know how many people in Charlotte are aware of this, but the Bishop of Charlotte, who was also appointed by Prevost when he was head of the bishops, Bishop Michael Martin, has announced that and Charlotte was the most thriving traditional Latin Mass community in the country. They closed down, they had 20 parishes with TLM masses going. They closed down and only had 4. Today, he announced that he is relegating the Latin Mass to, basically a small barn, and they're only going to have 2 masses, 2 Sundays a month. So they're crushing the Latin Mass. I mean, and if this is how he treats his American compadres, 24 hours. The audience may not know, but there's been this
There you go. We'll update on Pope Leo. It seems like it's not going to work out. Yeah. All right. Let's see what this is. Now we're just going to go to random viral videos that are going on. Here
There is something very large at play in the Palisades fire.
Oh, yeah. This one. This one's about the Palisades fires. This is interesting. No one really talked about this. But did you know there was a fake fire truck roaming around? A couple was roaming around in the Palisades, and one of them was a convicted arsonist. Here's a story on it.
There was a couple from Portland, Oregon, and they drove into the Palisades fire scene in a decommissioned fire truck. They had emblazoned this fire truck with the name Rolling River Fire Department.
Were they there like from minute 1?
All I know is that they got into the scene 2 days in a row before they were stopped and arrested.
Whoa.
I don't know if they burnt it down. We do know that they were acting suspiciously in the fire zone on a fake fire truck. Turns out the woman is a National Weather Service wind and fire expert who teaches juvenile delinquents climate change issues. They make rap songs called Weather Slaps. And some of the lyrics go like, wait until you see it all burn. And her husband, the guy behind the wheel, is a convicted arsonist who burned down country clubs and rich people's houses in a small town in Oregon.
Holy shit.
They were eco-terrorists. So I am convinced that this is an act of eco-terrorism.
That's insane to me.
Yep. And will the truth ever come out? That's the question. Interesting, huh? Very interesting. It's, man. Another toxic chemical coming out of Skittles. They're getting rid of another ingredient. I don't understand why we have these chemicals in these foods, these candies. You know what I mean? And you know what I don't want? You know what I don't want? And I know RFK is talking about, he's like, you should tell the people what's in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they do tell the people that's in it. All right, already with the ingredients. People don't know it's poison or not. Why even put the poison on there? Why even put Skittles? Here's this one, yellow 5, that causes cancer, this, and that. All right. How about we just get rid of that? How about we just get rid of all the chemicals and there's no like really warning labels on food? Okay. I don't think that solves the issue by just like, oh, we'll just label it. No. How about we just completely get rid of it all? Right. All right. I just got a little angry there. Right. All right. This is going on. This is this was interesting. Before Biden left, he was giving out loans to, I think this is the one about white farmers. Is this that, right, Chuck? Let's go to it.
Just the documents to prove it.
When former President Joe Biden left Washington, D.C.
Farmers to non-white farmers. That's right. He was giving out loans to people that weren't white.
He was leaving behind a DEI secret involving American farmers and $800 million in taxpayer money. And a United States Department of Agriculture whistleblower is now sounding the alarm.
It was to pay off anyone who wasn't a white male's loan. That was the only qualification for this loan forgiveness.
And what was the reaction?
So it was really silent. They were trying to keep this hushed because of the obvious implications of race-based loan forgiveness.
Race-based loan forgiveness. It's in black and white, buried in the American Rescue Plan Act. The United States Secretary of Agriculture shall provide a payment in an amount up to 120% of the outstanding indebtedness of each socially disadvantaged farmer or rancher. The act explicitly lays out who's considered socially disadvantaged.
So just to be clear, if you were American Indian, Alaskan Native, Asian Black, African American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Hispanic, or Latino, and you were in that group, you were told you didn't have to pay your bills, essentially?
Yes, that's correct. And that your loan would be forgiven up to 120% of the loan value.
To me, it was combating racism with more racism. I couldn't believe that it was happening in today's age.
James Dunlap owns a small family farm in Baker City, Oregon. He works 2 other jobs to keep his farm afloat, but did not qualify for the loan forgiveness because he's white.
He showed us the documents.
Yeah. Yep. That's just another one added to the books. So the Biden administration, it almost seems like it was a bunch of minorities running the White House. You know what I mean? It's like, this is our time. Let's give back to our people or our friends or who, if they're black, let's give it to them. Because they're victims. This DEI is like a disease. I mean, DEI, disease. This is the first letters, disease.
Done.
All right, make sure, just so you guys know, we dodged a huge bullet. And then I think Tulsi confirms that we all would have been put on a list.
Here, what was done under the Biden administration. Was it they were saying that everyone who opposed, say, mask mandates or the vaccination of children are domestic violent extremists? Or were they saying that those are opinions often held by domestic violent extremists?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. That when you look at the language of these documents that I've declassified, first, the strategic implementation plan of the Biden administration's designation of potential violent domestic extremists, it really talks about people who may likely turn out to be domestic violent extremists or those who may likely turn to violence because of these specific quote unquote ideologies that they hold. And there's a consistent thread through here that these ideologies that they are designating as turning into potentially violent activities or being
done here. What was done under the Biden
manifested in violent activities happen to be those of people who were using their First Amendment rights to oppose certain policies of the Biden administration. And while some of the examples that are focused on there have to do with those who oppose the COVID vaccine mandates.
Listen, this is just bad. I mean, imagine if they got in, this would have been bad. Obviously, everyone that went to January 6th is on this list. Quiet Skies, if you might recall. Tulsi Gabbard was on this list. This is probably why it's very personal to her to clear up this list. People want to know. I'll release the list. We want to know who's on it. Yeah, I like to know. Let's see. Trump comments on criticism of Elon Musk over Republicans' big, beautiful bill that adds $4 trillion to the deficit. Let's check that out.
Elon Musk in a television interview criticized the one big, beautiful bill.
Disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly. Which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, the reaction's a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was. We have no Democrats. If it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. If that doesn't get approved, this country is going to have a 65% increase in taxes and lots of other problems, big problems, almost bigger than that. But we'll have a 65% increase as opposed to the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill. But the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle income people of our country, low and middle income people of our country. So we're going to see what happens, because the Senate, as you know, is negotiating with us, and they have to then go back to the House, and, it's got a way to go. But I have to say, Speaker Johnson and Thune have done an incredible job. John Thune has done a fantastic leader. Thune.
He's not answering the question.
fantastic job, and they're working together with me and others. And I think we have an amazing, if we pull this off, remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. You know, they'll let people pour into our country. Single biggest problem is we had 21 million people pour into our country, probably higher than that. And they're people that weren't supposed to be here. And many of those people are bad. Murderers, drug dealers, the mentally insane. They were closing mental institutions.
I think pretty much you should have just said, hey, listen, yeah, it might be $4 trillion. I understand that. And I know Doge is cutting money, but the money is going for a better cause. All right. Instead of $4 trillion going out to what the DEI programs were doing, the Biden administration was doing, maybe this $4 trillion is more better for the country. That's what we got to hope for, right? Because he's not answering the question.
All over the world, not South America, all over the world, they're coming into our country and we're getting them out. And we're having a hard time because some judges aren't making it very easy for us. And it's tough enough. They approve that. They allow that to happen to our country. We don't have one Democrat vote. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for this bill and I'd get elected to any position I want as a Democrat. They're crazy. They're voting for a 65% tax.
I think regardless of the bill, hate it or not, what are you going to do? Right? I think it's more pro-America. So if it passes, great, whatever. I don't know. They always do this every 6 months, year, whatever. They have a bill. They got to pass it. Who's going to vote for it? It's like, we already voted for Trump. All right, just make the bill. Let's go. Pass it. Let's go. Get on. All right. But let's try to cut spending, please. Let's just cut it, please. All right, moving on to this. Charlie Kirk and this kid talking about, he says, I am a child of rape.
My name is Owen. I am a child of my birth mother's from San Francisco. She was when she was 17 at a party while she was drunk, but she decided to not get an abortion. Even though I am a child that was put up for adoption, I personally do not support abortion on any level. I just cannot find a way to support a national abortion ban. It is too much of a gray area. Not enough people agree with me. And I believe people should be left to do what they want. And I want to ask you how you reconcile that.
I'll just say I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
What part is the gray area to you?
To me, I believe that it's a child from conception. I believe that that is a child in the womb. But I don't think if you look at every single person in this crowd, they're going to agree with that statement. And I don't see how I can force somebody with my beliefs to have to carry a child to birth.
Why does the truth matter about widespread agreement? If something is true, who cares if people agree with you?
I understand that, but I think that there's a lot of harm that can come to some women.
Is it true or not? Is it a human being at conception?
Yeah, no, I completely
then it's
agree.
completely irrelevant what other people think.
I'm going to have to agree with that, frankly. I think we're going to disagree on legislating it. My name is Owen.
I don't know where that was going, but he was a child of rape. Right, Micah? He knows. All right. Let's continuing on here. Let's see here. Do you think Trump is hiding the information about Thomas Crooks and Jeffrey Epstein? Do you think that he's saving it for a rainy day where he needs national coverage on something? Maybe he's going to possibly take down the deep state through this information that he's holding on to? Well, this next video might explain that. Let's check it out.
There's a part of me that believes Trump is behind all of this, not in the way that you think about it. There's a part of me that thinks Trump's behind all of this because Trump wants to use this as a leverage of negotiating against the enemy. So think about it this way. What if they had proof on what happened with Crooks? Should you drop it now? Or do you need to hang on to that for the next 4 years to have control and authority? What happens if you hang on to that?
You're saying he's playing his cards close to the vest.
All I'm
he
saying
knows
is
something and he's doing misdirection.
If I knew Crooks was an asset that was mind control tied to somebody else was working with him, why would I release it now? Why does he need that ammunition right now? He doesn't need it yet. He's going to need it. Trust me, the war hasn't even started yet on what they're going to try to do to destroy this guy. The war, next year, I keep saying 2026 is going to be the greatest year in the history of America with, July June 15 being his 80th and 250 America's birthday, then World Cup coming here. They're going to do everything in their power to make him and America look bad. He needs all of these pieces, all these cards for next year. All of them. My opinion. If I'm the president, I'm not going to leak that information today. I'm hanging on to it to know when we're going to drop the news. And when we do, it's got to be at a time that I'm going to destroy your party. I'm going to make sure the world knows about what you're doing. You best get your act together, or else. You don't think he's capable of talking like that behind closed doors? So to me, all I'm thinking about is that right now he's saying, guys, delay.
He's got a point there, folks. Is he delaying this information? I mean, hey, it makes sense. Maybe if he does delay it, maybe he'll have it all come out in an order where it just destroys the entire Democrat Party, right? And finally, the devil will finally go to hell forever, right? That's what he needs to go to. You know what I mean? Very, here's a video that celebrates the 5 years of George Floyd. We all like to celebrate George Floyd, right? This is a 5-year anniversary is just passed. This video showcases what people did to celebrate George Floyd.
Fuck that! Fuck that! I can't breathe! Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Don't. Yeah, just finish up the back, will ya? We gotta get out of here. We need a medic here. Hey, fuck you right here, fucking beanbag bitch. I'm about to shoot your bitch ass. How you like it? I have no fucking weapon. Wait, was that from a rubber bullet? I don't know. WZW? WCW? WZW. WZW. Yeah! Let me get the right we got a thing tag. That's pretty cool.
That's right. BLM. Burn, dudes. Right? All right, guys, that wraps up today's episode of Spiritual Warfare, episode 72, in case you're keeping track. Make sure you check out our store at webersway.com/shop. It's always there, it's always live, and we are always in stock. That's right. Use promo code GODWINS, get 10% off and also free shipping right now. Get it while it's hot at webersway.com/shop. Yeah, use promo code GODWINS. All right, is that it? All Chuck, right? That's all we got to say right about that. All right, thanks for watching. Man, what a great show tonight. Thank you for everybody who tuning in. Obviously, the people on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you guys are the best. That's, majority of our audience. Anyways, we are on YouTube. Literally, I don't even think it's working. I don't even know if it's working. We are also on Rumble. We also stream on Weber's Way Films on Instagram if you want to catch us too. Other than that, folks, it's time to, well, you know what time it is. It's time to pray. And who do we pray for, you might ask? We are going to pray for someone that's satanic, someone that's evil, someone that needs a prayer, for sure. Needs an encounter with God, change his ways. Well, probably should go to him, right, Chuck? Yeah. All right, David Hogg is up. His first prayer. Here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray to you, Lord. We pray that you wake up David Hogg. We ask you to reach into his soul and, well, if there is a soul, ignite it with the light of you, Jesus. Help him realize that he's on the wrong side of history. And obviously he seems like he's seen it as they dismiss him as the DNC vice chair. Lord, we just ask you to show yourself in visions. Show yourself in his dreams. Wake him up. Have a video come out of him saying, I love the Lord. Jesus is my Savior. I'm on the wrong side of history, and I'm going to switch. I'm sorry that I've lied to everyone in America. That's all we can wish for, Lord. We just ask you to do that tonight. Reach out to him right now. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, folks. That wraps up tonight. We will see you tomorrow. We will see you maybe Friday. I don't know. Wife's coming in town, so it's seems like she might be like, hey, what are you doing? I'll be like, I'm doing a show. She might get mad. I don't know. Anyways, support us, guys, at webersway.com/shop. Do it right now. This one is armed and ready. You can get it. It's hot off the shelf. This is the old style. The Do Not Tread logo is still on these shirts. Like that. I love these shirts. I love them. You know, these are fitted shirts. If you're a well-built man like myself, well, you might enjoy them yourself. But if you're overweight, that's okay, because you know you're part of the Maha movement and you're going to get in shape and you're going to finally get to that waistline that we always dreamed of, right? All right, folks, we'll see you later. Remember, Jesus is coming. This song is called Spiritual Warfare. That's the name of the show. Pretty cool.
The word is my sword, cutting through the night. Guided by the Spirit, I'm ready to fight. Demons tremble when I call his name. Every chain will break, no fear remains. Heaven's on my side, the victory's won. Through the cross, the battle's overcome. Oh, spiritual warfare, fight for my heart. Light against the darkness, terrorize apart. With faith as my fire, I'll stand and I'll pray. In the name of the truth, I'll rise up today. In this spiritual war, I'll never back down. If grace is my guide, I'll wear the crown.